I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. This plea agreement entered into by someone at the January 6th insurrection that's not getting all that much attention may actually be a gold mine for special counsel Jack Smith. This may be the most important underreported story of the past week, and that is that Jonathan Owen Shroyer is entering into a plea agreement with the Department of Justice for cooperation with additional investigations as part of the plea. Now, you may be asking, who is Jonathan Owen Shroyer? Great question. Well, he is a host and producer with Alex Jones at InfoWars. So, why does this matter to special counsel Jack Smith? Well, Jonathan Owen Shroyer was present at the Willard Hotel, which became home base to the leadership of the insurrection the day before the January 6th insurrection. Leave it to MAGA Republicans to just defile a five-star hotel like the Willard Hotel in Washington, D.C., but they turned that hotel into home base for all of their plans to overthrow our democracy. And you had people there like Mike Flynn was present there. You had people like Mike Flynn Jr. was there. You had Alex Jones there. You had Roger Stone there. You had Oath Keeper terrorists protecting Roger Stone there. I mean, here's some of the photographs right there. I was trying to identify all the people in those photographs right there. But guess who was there as well? Jonathan Owen Shroyer, who goes by Owen Shroyer. So clearly, Flynn's invoking his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Stone's invoking his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. But now, through Owen Shroyer and this cooperation agreement, special counsel Jack Smith has eyes and ears into what was going down that day on January 5th, the day before the insurrection. Just how important this event was, let me just read this for you right here. This is from a New York Times article. At the Willard and the White House, the January 6th panel widens its net. What went on at a five-star hotel near the White House the day before the riot could be a window into how a Trump-directed plot to upend the election ended in violence at the Capitol. We are essentially in a national emergency, Mike Flynn declared on January 5th during an interview with internet conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, recorded in a luxurious suite at the Willard Intercontinental Hotel near the White House. Quote, "The truth is going to come out," said Mr. Flynn, the former three-star general and national security advisor. "Donald Trump will continue to be the president of the United States for the next 4 years." And of course, we all believe that Donald Trump was speaking through intermediaries to Michael Flynn at the Willard Hotel. So guess who else is in the other room of the Willard Hotel? The article talks about it. In another room of the five-star hotel, a phalanx of lawyers and political advisors for Trump, including Rudy Giuliani, Bernard Kerik, John Eastman, were all there. On the hotel's grand front steps, you had Roger Stone flashing his signature Nixon victory sign to fans as members of the Oath Keepers, now a terrorist group with many of those members convicted of seditious conspiracy, were out there protecting him. The article goes on to say, what unfolded at the Willard Hotel in the hours before the Capitol riot has become a prime focus then for the January 6th committee, although the January 6th committee didn't get nearly as far given all of the objections and MAGA Republicans running out the clock that day. But you may remember this portion of Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony relating to the Willard Hotel and her telling Mark Meadows not to go to the Willard Hotel. This is from an article in The Guardian. Talks about how Cassidy Hutchinson testified. She described how in December of 2020, a month after Election Day, the Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, told her Trump's refusal to accept defeat by Joe Biden, quote, could spiral out of control and be a dangerous and be dangerous for our democracy. On January 2nd, 2021, 4 days before electoral college results would be certified, Rudy Giuliani, Trump's attorney, told Hutchinson, "The 6th is going to be a great day. We're going to the Capitol. It's going to be great. The president is going to be there. He's going to look powerful." Meadows then told Hutchinson things might get real bad on January 6th. Hutchinson described how on January 5th, she stopped Meadows attending a meeting at the Willard Hotel held by Giuliani, the former White House strategist Steve Bannon, the law professor John Eastman, and other pro-Trump extremists. Meadows, she said, wanted me to work with Secret Service on a movement from the White House to the Willard Hotel so he could attend the meeting with Giuliani and his associates in the, quote, war room at the Willard Hotel. Quote, "I made it clear to Mr. Meadows that I didn't believe it was a smart idea. I knew enough about what Mr. Giuliani and his associates were pushing that I didn't think it was something appropriate for the White House chief of staff to attend or to consider involvement." Meadows mentioned a few more times going up the Willard that evening, then eventually said he would dial in instead. So Willard ultimately called in. The next paragraph talks about how Trump said Pence deserved to be hanged, just to remind you of what was going on with the January 6th committee, what they uncovered. And by the way, Cassidy Hutchinson, who I just read what she testified to, she's a Republican. You know, we're talking about, remember, all those witnesses were Republicans. So now let's pull up the plea agreement that was just entered into by Jonathan Owen Shroyer. Works for InfoWars, works for Alex Jones. He is now pleading guilty and entering into a cooperation agreement. How do we know? Well, we have the agreement dated June 21, 2023. It says it's sent to the lawyer for Jonathan Owen Shroyer. This letter sets forth the full and complete plea offer to your client, Jonathan Owen Shroyer, from the Office of the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. This plea offer expires June 23rd, 2023. If your client accepts the terms and conditions of this offer, please have your client execute this document in the space provided below. Upon receipt of the executed document, this letter will become the plea agreement. The terms of the offer are as follows. Your client agrees to plead guilty to count 1 of the criminal information, charging your client with entering and remaining in a restricted building or grounds in violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 1752A1. Your client understands that a violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 1752A1 carries a maximum sentence of 1 year imprisonment, a fine of $100,000 pursuant to 18 U.S.C. Section 3571B5, a term of supervised release of not more than a year, pursuant to 18 U.S.C. 3583B3, and an obligation to pay any applicable interest or penalties or fines of restitution timely made. In addition, pursuant to this other section, your client agrees to pay a special assessment for a Class A misdemeanor. But turning to the next page, you see Section 2, cooperation with additional investigation. This is the key portion. Your client, by the way, who was at the Willard Hotel, who was in all of those rooms that we're talking about, who's got the messages, who's got everything on his phones, who knows what was taking place, cooperation with additional investigation. And here's where I think they're talking about with Special Counsel Jack Smith, because it just refers to an additional investigation. Your client agrees to allow law enforcement agents to review any social media accounts operated by your client for statements and posting in or around January 6, 2021, prior to sentencing. So again, law enforcement agents will be reviewing all of his social media accounts. So open up those InfoWars accounts. Let's see the messages that you were talking about with Alex Jones. Let's see the messages that were being communicated with all of these individuals to determine what was going on in the Willard. Paint that picture, because that's where there are these links and connections with Donald Trump. which we believe to take place, exist. Factual stipulation: your client agrees that the attached statement of offense fairly and accurately describes your client's actions and involvement in the offenses of which your client is pleading guilty. Please have your client sign and return. And then the client did indeed sign and return that. And just looking at one of the information by the Department of Justice, it talks about how Shroyer, it says he's a Texas-based talk show host associated with InfoWars. Shroyer's show, The War Room with Owen Shroyer, streams daily on InfoWars platforms, banned video section. Shroyer traveled to Washington, D.C. in January 21, and in advance of January 6, spoke of stopping the certification of electoral college votes. In a video posted on InfoWars' website on January 5th, Shroyer gave an address in Freedom Plaza in Washington, D.C., during which he stated, "Americans are ready to fight. We're not exactly sure what it's going to look like, perhaps in a couple of weeks if we can't stop the certification of a fraudulent election. We are the new revolution. We are going to restore and we are going to save the Republic." In another video posted to the InfoWars website on January 5th, Shroyer called into an InfoWars live broadcast and said, "What I'm afraid of is if we do not get this false certification of Biden stopped this week, I'm afraid of what it means for the rest of the month. Everybody knows the election was stolen. Are we going to just sit here and become activists for 4 years, or are we going to actually do something about it? Whatever that cause or course of action may be." And again, of course, he was there in the room with all of these people, Flynn and Stone and Alex Jones and the whole crew. So cooperation there. Special counsel Jack Smith building his case. I think we'll be hearing a lot more of this cooperation in the future. So wanted to make sure I put it on your radar and explain to you why it's so important, knowing he was present at the Willard Hotel, but also just to remind you about the significance of what was going down at the Willard Hotel. And frankly, the complicity of Mark Meadows and that Cassidy Hutchinson. I say, don't go there. What are you doing? I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. And wherever you get audio podcasts, make sure you subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast, and go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Have an excellent day.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.